There is a specific kind of person who can ruin your entire week just by existing in it. Not because of what they did to you, which, if you are honest, was almost nothing. The coworker who name drops in every meeting. The friend who makes everything about them. The relative who cannot stop giving advice nobody asked for. The size of your reaction never quite matches the size of the offense. Other people barely notice this person. You cannot stop thinking about them. 100 years ago, one psychiatrist argued that gap is the single most useful clue your own mind will ever hand you. It has a name, and it is not a compliment. Last episode, we mapped the psyche, the ego on top, and everything underneath it the ego does not control. Today, we go into the one part of that map most people spend their life avoiding. Carl Jung called it the shadow. Not evil. Not a demon. Just the sum of everything you disowned to become who you are. From the moment you were small, you learned which parts of yourself were acceptable and which got you in trouble. Anger got you punished, so you buried the anger. Ambition got called arrogant, so you buried that too. None of it disappeared. It moved underground, into the layer Jung called the personal unconscious. The shadow is that material, organized. Everything the ego rejected to hold a clean, consistent self-image. Everyone carries a shadow, Jung wrote, and the less it is embodied in conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. And Jung was specific about one thing critics still miss. The shadow is not only your worst material, it is also your best, unlived. Here is the mechanism that turns a buried trait into someone else's personality flaw. Jung called it projection. What you cannot own in yourself, you unconsciously locate in someone else. Your mind cannot delete the ambition it buried, so it finds ambition in the room and reacts to it as a threat. That is why the braggart in the meeting gets under your skin so specifically. This is not a metaphor. Bury a trait in yourself, and you become measurably more likely to see it in strangers. Jung's closest student, Marie-Louise von Franz, added a twist that most pop psychology drops entirely. She called it the gold in the shadow, disowned strengths, not just disowned flaws. If irritation points down toward a buried flaw, envy points up toward buried gold. The confidence you cannot stop noticing is very often showing you a strength you were taught to shrink. Myth got there first. Narcissus is punished less for vanity than for a gaze that only ever turns outward, never in. Medusa, who turns onlookers to stone, is what a shadow becomes when it only ever fought, never faced. Even Pandora's box is a shadow story. The trouble was never inside it, it was in the refusal to look. So, the mechanism runs on two lanes. Irritation projects the flaws you buried. Envy and awe project the strengths. Both are trying to tell you the exact same thing. This is already yours. You just have not claimed it yet. Now the honest part, because the shadow deserves scrutiny, not worship, same as everything else in this series. Start with what holds up. Projection as a defense mechanism is one of the best supported ideas in this theory. Classic thought suppression studies found what Jung predicted decades earlier. Bury a trait and you see it more in strangers. Psychodynamic therapy, where working with disowned material sits at the center, meets the modern bar for evidence-based treatment. Now the honest limits. The shadow, exactly as Jung defined it, is not a construct found in mainstream trait psychology. Open the Big Five, the dominant modern model of personality, and there is no shadow variable, nothing to score. No instrument measures how integrated your shadow is. No scan, no number, nothing a hard science demands. No randomized trial isolates shadow work as the active ingredient. Which part of therapy does the work is still an open question. Pop self-help adds its own damage. Worksheets that turn a real defense mechanism into a fortune-telling exercise. Sometimes a person really is just being rude, and the boring explanation beats the mystical one. So hold the two halves this series keeps returning to. The mechanism, projection, has real support. The branded ritual has much less. So here is how you use this without turning every annoying coworker into a therapy session. The diagnostic is one question, asked honestly, after the irritation has already passed. What is it specifically about this person that gets under my skin more than the situation justifies? Not what they did. What quality? Name the actual trait, not the incident. Then ask the harder follow-up. Where, in my own life, have I had to bury exactly that? Take the burnout example. A reliable manager who never raises her voice starts snapping at her team and cannot explain why. She was taught early that anger was unprofessional, so she stopped feeling it. It leaked out sideways instead, at the wrong targets. The fix was letting herself feel the anger directly, in proportion, before it built up enough pressure to leak. Take the relationship example. One partner is always the responsible one. The other, always the fun one. It works, until it does not. Each has quietly outsourced half of themselves to the other. One never gets to be spontaneous, the other never taken seriously. They fight about chores, but the real fight is two people each defending a role built by disowning its opposite. Reclaiming a little of the other side does more for the relationship than any argument about whose turn it is. Take the creative block. A talented writer sits down daily and cannot finish anything, always one draft short. Somewhere Jung, wanting to be seen, got labeled vanity, so the desire for recognition went underground too. The block is a shadow doing its job, keeping a desire safely unfinished so it can never be judged. The work does not get easier until the ambition gets owned out loud, on purpose, as something actually wanted. Across all three, the pattern repeats. Burial never removes the cost, it just relocates it somewhere worse. So track two things this week. What irritated you, specifically? What you quietly envied, specifically? Do it in writing, and the same handful of traits keep showing up, in different people, again and again. Which brings us to the part people consistently get wrong about shadow work. Integration does not mean getting rid of the shadow. You cannot delete a third of your own psyche. Eliminating it just pushes it further underground, where it runs your life unsupervised. Integration is closer to a difficult introduction, meeting the part of you that got exiled and letting it back in on your terms. This is the same individuation from last episode, applied to its hardest chapter. The parts you worked hardest to disown. Wholeness was never about being good. It was always about being complete. Faced instead of endlessly projected, the shadow stops running the show from the basement and starts becoming more of you. This week, pick one person who irritated you and one you quietly envied, and finish the sentence. This is already mine. Not a confession, not a flaw to fix. Just an honest look at material you already own, claimed or not. Next time in this series, we go to the opposite problem. Not what you buried, but the mask built to hide the burial. The persona, the face you show the world, and what happens when you forget it was ever a face at all. Same, Mappadati. One more room. That is the shadow.